remember that girl that was in that sex cult. So this is Allison Mack. Allison Mack was in that show Smallville. I don't know if you remember that show Smallville in the mid-2000s, but she was that real cool friend of Superman. She was in some other small roles in her career in the mid-2000s, but a lot of stuff was like indie things and things like that. But let's get to the nitty-gritty. So somewhere along the 2000s, Allison found herself in this cult called NXIVM, and it was founded by him, Keith. But the thing was about this cult was that it was just a regular cult. It wasn't even seen as a cult. It was just looked at as an organization that was used for empowering and used for enlightenment within yourself. You know, trying to find positive within yourself, trying to find the better within you. Now, if you was a member of NXIVM, you would have been paying thousands for webinars, seminars, courses, tutorial, whatever. This was where it was based at in New York. Even with me saying cult, I know that sounds fishy, but it gets even fishier, trust me. He used to use this cult as just a way to get more women. When I say women, I mostly mean sex slaves. Now, within the cult, Keith had another subgroup within the cult that he named DOS. I'm gonna put the actual Latin word here for DOS, but it really meant master over slave women. Any women that he chose to be in DOS had to have his initials branded on their skin, and they had to also do some other things as well in order to be branded as his. Now, here's where Allison had the most to do with this. Allison was one of the top recruits for the women who would be Keith's slaves. Allison would recruit these women and tell them that it's just an empowerment place for women to be at. Once they got there, she would give collateral. They would have to give Allison collateral, as in news or embarrassing information about them, so that if they tried to get out, that's what's going to happen to you. They would have to brand themselves with Keith and Allison's. I believe that that's Allison's initials. I don't really know. Maybe you could look at it and tell me. But I know that one is Keith's initials and Allison's initials. These women would have to get this branded on them, on their body. And on top of that, Allison would tell the girls that they would have to starve themselves and make themselves look more what Keith preferred as far as appearance-wise for a woman that goes. So in 2017, that's when it all went down. And in 2017, that's when a lot of members had, started snitching and started quitting and then telling them about what was really going on, telling the FBI, telling police, everybody. So the word was getting out. Allison and Keith were found in Mexico at this point. They were charged with a lot of things like racketeering, sex trafficking. They were facing a lot of time, especially Keith. So Allison eventually wound up pleading guilty, and she admitted to everything. She just said that she was blindly led by the guy, and she just basically pretty much just spilled all the beans when they asked her to it. The dude Keith is facing a lot of time. She was here for about 2 years. She only did 2 years because she had good behavior, and she had 1,000 community service hours that she had to serve also. Guy Keith winds up getting about 130 years. And Keith's weird ass wound up getting 120 years.